This is Outdated, and welcome to episode 41 of Beta Test. So this episode, I'm looking at the Xbox One X edition of PlayerUnknown's Batttlegrounds, specifically the playtest servers. So they have a playtest server app. Instead of using the regular game, you go into it to test new things like new game modes, and new weapons, new maps, things like that, and you get to see them a little beforehand. So apparently, since last time I've played, which has been quite a while, they've added weapon progression, they've added leveling up, like the more you use a weapon to do damage or kill somebody. They've added medals and tiers. It's nice that they're continuing to expand the game. That's cool. They've added charms. Like every 5 levels, it looks like you get a charm that you can hang from a gun, which is cool. So I'm going to hop in here and play a game, see how this goes. So this will probably be my only episode, at least for this run of the playtest server. Now, I know they're going to be activating it again soon to test a new version of the Erangel map, and so I might do that as well, depending on if I, honestly am aware when it's active. And right now I have some other games out there that I have playtested that I haven't been able to do footage for, either because I have an NDA that I signed, a non-disclosure agreement, which means I'm not allowed legally, and I'm going to respect their wishes, or because I just haven't had the chance to put it together. One example would be Ghost Recon Breakpoint, which was really awesome. One of them was Bleeding Edge, which for the only way I can really put it is it's like Overwatch but melee combat, and I would say it's goofier, but also pretty dang fun. So, I feel like the combat system, it's not perfect, but it's pretty good. Also, there's one called Lorn Sword Winter Chronicles. It's a real-time strategy game on console, which is virtually unheard of, as we all know. So, matter of fact, I can only think of one real-time strategy series on console that has been remotely successful, and that has been Halo Wars and Halo Wars 2. That's it. So it would be nice to see something come into that arena and scratch that itch that, honestly, only PC has ever been able to do right, in my book. And I've been playing real-time strategy since the original Warcraft and the original Command & Conquer. So, those are some of my favorite games. So I'm trying to see what has changed since I played last, because it used to be this thing was ridiculously janky. Right now, it's running really smoothly for me. Right now, there's only 32 players, because I think this is a training match, and I think in the PTS, I don't think it has as many people on a thing, probably because there aren't as many people with access to the playtest server. But this is definitely the Erangel map, and it is not the new version, because when I made this footage, they hadn't even announced that yet. They announced it at Gamescom. So you're probably wondering, why am I not wearing shoes? Now, if you play PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, you know why, and so there's no need to worry about that. If you are more of a Fortnite player, don't know the level of detail that PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds has, your footfalls are much louder in shoes or boots than they are barefoot. So I've always gone in barefoot because it doesn't affect anything unless I'm going to get shot in the toes. So, if they can hit me in the toes, they can hit me in the head, which would be a much bigger target, and that's what I need to be worried about. So, okay, I'm going to run in here, and so I came out here hoping to avoid contact, and I'm going to try to find all the weapons that I can. I will say this is moving more smoothly than I recall it moving in the past. Not that. Wait a minute. Did I miss? Oh, hello, frag grenade. Hopefully I can find an actual gun, but, frag grenades aren't bad for blowing stuff up. Okay, so now let's talk just a little bit about Battle Royales. And I know if you watched my earlier episodes of Beta Test, you know that I beta tested Cuisine Royale. I beta tested, what was Game Pre? Whatever. I played the beta of Realm Royale. Generally speaking, especially with some of them, Cuisine Royale and Realm Royale, I'm willing to go in and look for a fight. Generally with a game like this that is much more hardcore, and it really is much more hardcore than most Battle Royale games, I generally do not look for a fight. I generally try to stay hidden at least until half the players are gone. I'd rather just take my time scavenging and letting them shoot each other. You just go right ahead. I'm going to pick up everything you don't know is here while you're too busy shooting each other. And hello, first aid kit. But that's how I've always played this type of game, except for the ones that are much friendlier. Part of it, though, is because, to be completely honest, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds shooting, at least back in the day when I was first playing it, was pretty janky. Like, it was really hard to like get it under control and make it do what you wanted it to do. I'm going to find out in this playthrough if that has improved. But that's one reason why, for a lot of those games that have more consistent and clear shooting mechanics, I have been able to do those, and I will go after people and hunt people down and do that sort of thing. But for the purposes of a game like this, now Fortnite, that's a great example. Fortnite is made by Epic Games. These are the people that made the original Unreal and Unreal Tournament. Now, I'm talking way back in the early 90s here. Some of the greatest games of their generations, although back then consoles weren't really that big of a thing. They were more PC. And they also went on to make Gears of War. And anybody who is an Xbox fan or a third-person shooter fan, because those are probably the best person shooters out there, knows how good those are. And Epic Games, the people that make Fortnite, made the first 3 Gears of War games. So, they know how to do tight shooting. They know how to do good shooting mechanics. I would have to say, as much as I prefer PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, because I prefer something that I'd consider more hardcore. I mean, I am a Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro player and all this. I have to say that the shooting in Fortnite is just much, much easier, and that is a good thing. Because when the key interaction you have with your opponent is shooting them, it needs to work properly. I think in the case of Fortnite, it most definitely does. In the case of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, even though it had been out for a while, when Fortnite came out, it already had better shooting than PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. It was more intuitive. It made more sense. The controls were more snappy, and it responded to your commands better. That being said, we'll see what happens here. Let's see how much that's improved. I can hear somebody. Is that a plane or somebody driving around? Okay, we are going to take a look in these goofy buildings here. So one thing I say I really like about what PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds has done, in difference to many of the other Battle Royales, is they have actually given you new maps. I mean, I understand that, Fortnite has made changes to their one map, and that's cool. I know that Realm Royale, I think, has made some changes over time to its one map. Not nearly as many as Fortnite, but some changes. That's great, too. But I like the idea of actually having more maps. So I think that's just a wise move. It's a good point. Especially for a game like Fortnite, whose maps are incredibly small, I should be able to have like 4 or 5 to choose from at least. I'd say 6 would be a great number and then call it a day. But right now, I mean, I give PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds credit. They give you new maps. Erangel being the largest, and it's like it could hold probably about at least 8 to 12 Fortnite maps. Its smallest map is about the size of the Fortnite map. And, so I like the fact that they give me more maps to play with and stuff like that. They just need to get the jank fixed. And right now it's running really well, no complaints. But is that the playtest server? Is it just because there's not as many players? Is it because I just have a really good internet connection today? Or have they actually fixed some of this stuff? Yeah, that I need to check and see. So I'm not sure like when I would do that, because the other shows I make, none of them would directly fit playing PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, because I do reviews for free games called Free for All, but PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds isn't free. I do beta tests, but except for the playtest server, that's the only way I can really integrate it, and it makes sense because it's in beta. So, I don't know if I would do a play for a game like this. It's not there's no story really, and I prefer Let's Plays of story-based games for my own enjoyment. So, let's see what we can find here. Okay, I'm not sure if I think that backpack's actually worse than the one I had. Come on, shut the door. Nice job, Jank. There we go. Let's take that good backpack back. Thank you very much. Yeah, it takes a second to switch out, but there's a great example. Now, you can see on the mini-map in the bottom right corner, there's a big red splotch up there. That's where the bombs are dropping and stuff like that, and so it kind of like keeps things fresh. That's, I think, what I'm hearing right now. I don't think that's players. I think that's bombs. So, again, I'm going to play very conservatively. Okay, now I'm wondering. That might have been a person. No, that's bombs, I think. Is it be coming from that direction? So this is a great example. This would be the kind of spot that if I know people would be heading this way, I would camp out at the top of the stairs, leaning around a corner, and just wait on them. And then just lay into them as soon as they come into view. I did. If you watched the beta test episodes with Cuisine Royale, you saw me do that. That's usually pretty effective, as far as like to lay ambush on somebody. That's how I prefer to play. That being said, I think I just picked up an AKM. I am totally loading your bad rear end. See, now, like over here on my left, there was a gas can. What I should do is take that gas can and put it right down there at the bottom of the steps. Almost like a lure, so people will come over there to get it. And then when they get close enough, there's another one. When they get close enough, I shoot the gas can. Now I'm burning them and I've kind of got that figured out. Okay, here come the bombs again. Now, one thing I would love to see. There, I had to clip something together there. I'm sorry about that. But what I would like to see is something like Battlefield. Battlefield has destructible environments. When those bombs are dropping, I'd love to see them like devastate or level some of these buildings. Actually blow up some of the buildings. So, I mean, like, the only problem with that, though, is that's kind of your signal to get into a building and hide. It draws people together. So that might undermine what they're doing. But I don't know. I think if you're dropping bombs on the place, it seems like it would be blowing these buildings to smithereens. Just checking to make sure there's nothing I need. No, thank you. One thing about a map this big, when you only have like 32 players going in or something, I mean, we're only at 25. So, people aren't getting killed very easily. There's more gas. More stairs. Let's check upstairs. In case anybody's doing the thing I do. I'm currently in the safe zone, so that's good. I have time to look around and see if I can find something of use. Okay, now you can hear that outside. That's rain. One thing I think that PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds has nailed is added weather effects. Fog, rain, snow, all that stuff. That's something that adds a whole new layer that should be in most of these, especially if it has some level of realism attached to it. Maybe not for something like Realm Royale. It's people that turn into chickens. I mean, you can only get so real with that. But for something like PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, yeah, weather is a nice effect, and I like the fact that when it's raining, your visibility isn't quite as good. Whenever it's foggy, your visibility pretty much sucks, which kind of changed the game, which is really, really cool. So I'm sorry that all this is me sneaking around, but I'll get into a fight here in a bit. Like I said, I'm just gathering supplies, waiting to the mid-game before I engage. If not later, if I can get away with doing it later, that's perfectly fine for me. That being said, I don't play these enough to honestly get very good at them. Crossbow, I gotta be honest, I'm not gonna mess with the crossbow. I would probably suck with the crossbow. Somebody just died. But I mean, the crossbow just seems like a weapon that would not work well for me or my playstyle. It would require, like really good accuracy, which is something I probably wouldn't have a lot of. Unless it's like a one-hit kill kind of thing, I could get that initial hit and get people out, but it's once we're in the middle of a firefight, when you would load a crossbow, you would have to take it down, grab a new bolt out, pull the hammer back, or see, here's another good spot that I would camp. Pull the hammer back, usually with a crank or something like that. It's complicated. It's not a simple thing. I don't think I'd have enough time. I'd have to use that as a stealth weapon. Right now, I'm going to stick with the AKM. I think that's the same level helmet I have with my stun camo helmet of doom. Now I am not in the safe zone. I need to get the heck to the safe zone. So here we go. Well, we are like in the middle of nowhere. 20 left. What is that? There they go. Somebody's driving by. I'm not going to mess with them. I would rather them not know I'm here. Let's see. So another thing I'm thinking about doing is some more episodes featuring Hunt Showdown with its game review version. It's going to be going live soon. Like, end of the month, actually. So I think like in a week, it's going to go live where people can play it. So that would be a good one, like as a farewell on beta test to Hunt Showdown, which is one of the games I've enjoyed playing the most, honestly, on this program. It's one of them that I've really enjoyed. And I think that I could really make a habit of playing that game. Let's look in here. Ooh, empty. No, not empty, but nothing I really want to mess with. 20 left. That bridge is where I need to go, because I know the safe's going to be across it. The problem is the bridges are death traps. It's like this point in the game, if people know that's where the zone's going to be, everybody's camping out near the bridge. I will take you, holographic sight. I will take you, laser sight. Let's go ahead and attach some of these. Now, this is something I really think PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds has an edge over most of these, is all the attachments and stuff. I can actually modify the guns the way I want them to be and all that. I mean, like, I think that's pretty cool. Something like, you know, like it has an inventory system. As clunky as it might be, where, as an example, Fortnite does not have an inventory system. Blackout and Call of Duty, it has an inventory system that's more streamlined than this. And I think it might be the closest we've gotten to something that really works well. Because, like, Realm Royale basically has no inventory system. Alright, that sounds like an airdrop. Alright, I am going to get on this bike. Okay, so I just got on the passenger seat back. Brilliant. That's what I wish, you know, it could be a little more precise. Okay, here we go. I'm just closing on those buildings real quick, because I know that the zone's going to close in, and I don't want the noise to attract people. Now, one strategy is to use it to get across the bridge. My concern with it is because it's the bike, I mean, I'm wide open to getting shot. It probably would be better if I used a car that gave me some level of cover. Okay, let's see. I'm going to mess with these buildings. I need to get to that safe zone. So I'm just going to stay over here where I don't think anybody would notice me. 19 players are left alive. We started at about 32. I'm to the point where I don't mind getting involved now. We're almost at the halfway point. I have a feeling I'm going to have to get involved over here on this bridge. If I can somehow survive getting across the bridge, I might have a chance of, you know, like breaking into the top 10 or maybe even further. Running. Oh, now one thing I hear they're doing with Aaron Gill when they redesign the map, they're adding more foliage and stuff. They're making it more graphically vibrant. I think that is just brilliant and something they really need to do. You have to remember this thing came from, you know, basically it came from Arma, which is not meant to be a visual powerhouse of beauty. It was meant to be a hardcore military sim. And so in that regard, you know, you're going to be fighting in areas that generally are not beautiful flower gardens sprinkled around the world with bright colors and Pixar-looking stuff. You know, I don't see anyone. Oh, there goes somebody. Oh, you can hear him. The fight begins. See, one idea is maybe I should just get in the water, swim across underneath the bridge. Okay, let's see if I can... Oh, hello. There's somebody. All right, that's it. I'm going in. And that's what we're at the halfway point. And, yeah, that aim was terrible. Let's switch guns. Because that thing has too much kick. Oh, no, you don't. No, you don't. There we go. Yeah, you go around to that side. I'm waiting. Come on. Come on. Yes. Okay, shooting is definitely better. It's about like Cuisine Royale or a little bit better than that, which is good. I can take it. And I got a kill, which is kind of rare for me. Oh. And while I was looting and 2 more people died, I died. But I came in 14th. I can live with that, and that was fun. I really enjoyed it. And for me, every little bit counts. So we're going to take a quick look at some of the progression stuff they've added. Like, that whole background's different. That's a little bit of a fancy house, and this is not the character I usually use because, one, I would not have given him that hair. All right, looks like I got about half the XP I need on a little bit more on the AKM to level it up to level 2. That's pretty cool. I like that. The leveling up of stuff, I think, is just fantastic. I think that is a very good thing. And the charms are all things that relate. And it got medals. Nice. So, I think I'm going to keep the playtest server installed for when they add something else, like the new Erangel. I think would be really fun to see. I think next episode we are either going to do, I got to check the status of the NDA, or if there is one, for Lore and Sword Winter Chronicles, or we may do episodes of the game preview version of Hunt Showdown first. I haven't decided, but I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'd love to thank you for watching. If you would please like and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it. And this has been Outdated, and I will see you next time. Peace out.